Welcome into the IHSA 8A State Championship game here on CSN Chicago. Whether you've been with us all day long or you are tuning in right now, the big one is right here, right now, just a few minutes away. Loyola Academy versus Maine South. The Ramblers trying to complete an undefeated season going against Maine South. So we welcome you into the studio now here at Memorial Stadium. I'm Sierra Santos alongside Edgy Tim, who's been doing a knock-up job of all the analysis all day long. What's it going to take for Loyola Academy to get the job done?
Well, I don't know if you're aware of this, Sierra. This is a neighborhood brawl. These two don't like each other very much. It's true. Maine South, first time these played early in the regular season, a 1-point Loyola win. Great game, high scoring. We're getting the same thing right now. Great ball game here in 8A.
And we will now welcome in the guys who will be calling all the action up in the booth, Dave Bernhardt and Hub Arkish. We're going to get your thoughts on the game, guys.
Yeah, we're pretty anxious about this one, Sierra. This is the one that a lot of folks have been waiting. The 8A game, you figure there's going to be a lot of points scored because they have scored a lot of points with each other. Let's take a look, first of all, at the brackets as to how they got here. You know, the one score that you will not see, the game you will not see in these brackets for Maine South, it was their very first game of the playoffs. They defeated West Aurora by literally inches, and then things kind of smoothed out from there. You see that huge win for Loyola, 42-13 over Glenbard West on Saturday, and Maine South got by Palatine by a couple of touchdowns also on Saturday. Now, Edgy said these two programs don't really like each other. Well, they met in week 2, 44-43 win for Loyola. That was week 2, but Hub, we're in week 14. How about some changes that have taken place since that early game?
Well, specifically, that's a Maine South team that not only had trouble on defense that day, but for a couple weeks after, forcing head coach Dave Ansara to say, hey, some guys are going to have to go two ways. They moved some guys over to defense, some of their two-way players. The defense got much better. Also, we talked to John Holisek about his defense early, giving up 42 points. He said they had some injuries over the summer, some juniors who were just figuring out the system. Both defenses have been much better the second half of the season than they were week 2 when these two got together.
Well, the one constant, though, are the quarterbacks. For Loyola, Tommy Harian has been outstanding all season.
Yeah, Tommy Harian's a young man who's going to principally be in the pocket trying to throw the football. Plenty of weapons. That's one thing you always see with Loyola. Can spread the ball around. He's done a great job. He's got that veteran presence, and they're pretty comfortable he's going to take care of the football for him.
Well, if Harian's in the pocket, Nick Leongas could be anywhere on this field.
Well, that's why I pointed it out. There are two very different styles going on here. Leongas, you're never sure what he's going to do next. He is great running with the football. Not quite the passer that Harian is, but Maine South has managed to put plenty of points on the board. That has not been their problem.
When these two teams came on the field for warm-ups, there was just a different sound in this stadium. We can't wait to get this one started. Your 8A championship ball game, the Loyola Academy Ramblers and the Hawks from Maine South comes your way next on CSN.
The wait is over. Loyola Academy taking on Maine South in our main event, the 8A state title game. I'm Sierra Santos here in our Memorial Stadium studio alongside Edgy Tim. Edgy, keys of the game.
Here we go. It is a terrific matchup. Loyola, the big question in this one is, can they find an extra stop or two on defense this time around against Maine South? Maine South offensively, maybe a couple of twists here or there. It's a great chess match between two great minds, a great one in defense and John Holisek, offensively with Dave and Sarah in Maine South.
All right, after the break, Dave and Hub will have the call of the game. The 8A state title game coming your way. Kickoff at 8:08.
The defending Class 8A state champion, the Loyola Academy Ramblers, take on 5-time state titleists, the Maine South Hawks. It is your final game of 8 here at Memorial Stadium in Champaign. Dave Bernard along with Hub Arkish, high atop Memorial Stadium. We are set to roll a rematch from week 2. And two teams that are perennial powers located just miles apart, and they meet in Central Illinois. There's Dave and Sarah, the head coach at Maine South. 16th season and 87% winning percentage. Loyola won the toss. They deferred to the second half. Maine South will take the ball, and they will start at their 20-yard line. Patrick Kramer kicking off for Loyola Academy. John Holisek picked up the state title last season. Loyola also with a championship in 1993. There is an 84% winning percentage. These guys don't come up on the short end of a score too often.
Well, and it's interesting, Dave, you mentioned Edgy Tim said they don't like each other. I don't know if it's that they don't like each other so much as they're used to playing in these games. They're used to being championships. They're used to winning these big games, and that's probably why they feel the competition so strongly.
We talked about Nick Liangas moments ago. There's another look at his statistics. He accounted for 470 yards of offense the first time these teams met. And the first handoff will go to a gentleman you will hear a lot of, junior Fotis Kokosoulias. That gives us a chance to look at your starting lineups for Maine South, brought to you by Taco Bell. In addition to Kokosoulias, you have some great skill position players in Molina, Holbrook, Stacy, and Kinkamp. Keep an eye out for number 75, Kevin Jarvis. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to miss him. Jarvis, 6'5", 340 pounds. Liangas on second down. That's off the hands of Matt Holbrook. Defense for Loyola has been outstanding as this season has gone on. Up front, it's Mendez, Canizero, and Marty Geary, the linebackers. They are so active. Mickey Kane, Anthony Romano, Graham Webb, and Anthony Rodriguez. The secondary tested early in the season. They have come on. Swenson Gonzalez, Largay, and Ryan Lynn Peastrup. Third down, Kokosoulias dances to the outside, to the 40, and near midfield. What a cut from Fotis Kokosoulias for a 25-yard pickup.
Dave, that is a young man with some real jump in his step. Just 5'8", 160 pounds, but suddenness is a term that you'll hear NFL scouts, college recruiters use quite a bit. And Dave and Sarah told us that the college has been coming around a lot more the last couple of weeks to talk about him next year.
He'll get it again. Not much room, but he'll slip through. Anthony Rodriguez, number 32, had a shot at Kokosoulias. Kokosoulias, almost 1,400 yards. He averages 7.9 yards per carry, 21 touchdowns this season. The primary ball carrier for the Hawks.
I'm just glad that you get to say Kokosoulias all night, and I'll just say the little scat back.
Nick Liangas, a great senior season. He does so many things, and there's a big hole up the middle. Kokosoulias, the chase. He'll be brought down at the 1-yard line. Chased down by Ian Swenson. But boy, did Kokosoulias hit the line in a hurry for a 52-yard run.
I'll tell you what, Dave, little things, and of course, if Maine South goes in, it won't matter. But Swenson did a great job of running him down. Surprising speed for a kid 6'2", 190. I would have bet on Kokosoulias in that foot race, but it was Swenson who won it.
The sneak from Liangas. Thrown back.
Liangas on the keeper.
Let's take a look. You see Dave and Sarah. A look at a quarterback sneak, and the ball.
That ball's coming up over his shoulder, isn't it? Yeah, that's
wow.
Looked like first he was concentrating on fighting for it, and then he was concentrating on holding on to the football.
Second and goal. They'll try it again. And Maine South, little over 2 minutes into the game. Our first touchdown of this 8A championship game.
What was that, 43-42? Is that what we got from last time? Well, boy, it would be fun if it happened again. We'll see now if Loyola can answer, as it did not take Maine South long, and that's Cocosulias. Again, David Serra was telling us that all of a sudden a lot of schools are calling to find out what he's thinking. Of course, just a junior, he'll be back next year, but the big run from the little man is what set up the first score of the game.
Sean Mcnulty, he does not miss. One of the top kickers in the country, knocks it through. 7 plays, 80 yards. It took 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Leongas, the touchdown. Cocosulias set it all up. What a way to begin your 8A title game. This happened in a hurry. Cocosulias to the outside, 25 yards. Cocosulias up the middle, 52 yards. Only as Ian Swenson tackled delayed the inevitable. And that was Nick Leongas sneaking it in from 1, and boom, it's a 7-0 game.
So anyone who was predicting a 100-yard game from Fotis Cocosulias, you're well on your way. Almost 80 yards on the first drive.
In fact, he did have every yard except that very last one that Leongas got. Mcnulty to kick off. He's coming into a wind of about 10 miles per hour, and you can see the wind hold that up just a little. Return across the 20-yard line of 17 yard, and that will bring on Tommy Harrion, the quarterback for Loyola. We saw his numbers moments ago, the great 18-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Hard to believe, and you can see the rushing numbers not the same as Leongas.
This, of course, a Loyola team, Dave, that put up 528 points over the course of the season, going 13-0. So we assume there's going to be some action from both offenses. Averaged
over 40 yards per game with those 500-plus total points, 40 points per game, we should say. To the outside is Kyle Rock. He'll be shoved out of bounds by Jack Hoffman. So that offense for Loyola will look like this. David Terrell, one of the wide receivers, along with Jack Moran, Jack Martinez, Jake Marweedy, one of the top players, if not the top player in the state. You look at your lineups there, brought to you by Taco Bell, and an amazing offensive line. Katowski, Gross, Brecky, along with Badovanak in that offensive line. Charlie Gross as well. Defensive lineups. Taco Bell bringing you these as well. First of all, for Maine South, Kevin Jarvis goes both ways. He anchors the interior line. Another great set of linebackers: Pistorius, Michael Pusateri, Fortune, and Canizares. Cam Stacy, a two-way performer. Sean Mcnulty going 2 ways for Maine South. So quickly near the 40-yard line. Marion has to keep it. Set up a 3rd and short.
Dave, you mentioned this Loyola offensive line. Katowski 6'2", 250. Gross 6'5", 265. Brecky 6'3", 270. Callum Bryan 6'3", 270. And Jack Badovanak, whose brother was on this team last year, 6'2", 270. It's like a college offensive line.
Sideline warning, Maine South.
And brother Jack Badovanak had a Thanksgiving dinner, or brother Sam Badovanak had Thanksgiving dinner, of course, with his brother Jack, and he told Jack his advice for this game: just play as nasty as you have all year and make those Rambler alums proud. Rock in the backfield, he will get the carry. Cal Rock up the middle, and now it's a race the other way. He's gone, 56 yards.
That was one of those runs, Dave, where you get to the second level and the running back is the most surprised guy in the stadium because nobody's there. I don't know if somebody got caught peeking into the backfield, but once Rock broke the line of scrimmage, it was just an all-out sprint, and I have to believe that there was a defensive breakdown on that somewhere.
Now Patrick Kramer to attempt the extra point. You expected a high-scoring ball game. How about a 77-yard drive in 4 plays. That took 1:26. We're tied at 7 early on. Fireworks here in Champaign. Kyle Rock providing them here. Teen IHSA Football State Championships are proudly brought to you by Country Financial. Country Financial will help you build a plan with insurance and financial solutions to help you get to where you want to go. Call your local rep at 1-866-COUNTRY or visit countryfinancial.com. Oh, I feel bad for you if you missed the first 3.5 minutes of this game. You missed a couple of touchdowns here in your 8A championship game. This one a chance for a return. Paul Sasso to the outside. Sasso will get a block downfield. He'll ride behind the block there along the left sideline of Andrew Masterson. 26 yards on the return.
Almost a block in the back on that one. And the young man from Maine South thought better of it at the last minute as he realized his ball carrier had the corner as it was.
How about this scoring drive? It looks very similar to the Maine South one we had moments ago. Maine South went 7 plays and 80 yards and 2:17. This was a 77-yard drive, and it only took 4 plays. Hawks back at it. Leongas a little bit wide on that left sideline. Nice catch made there out of bounds by Matt Holbrook.
You know, it kind of passed without notice, but there was a stop in the action. That sideline warning on David Sara. He was really fired up coming out on the football field. He seems to have slowed down a little bit now. I think both the coaches and the players came out really jacked up, and now will settle down and get into the football game.
A fake handoff to Kokosoulias, and that pass, the second straight incompletion. This one goes to the big target, 6'6" senior Luke Hinkamp.
I think they're going to give him the catch, say that he was down when the ball came out.
All right then. On the coverage was Anthony Romano. So Hinkamp, the big target for Leongas.
It's a good thing they don't have replay here. I'm not sure they had that ball long enough, but that's the call on the field.
That sets up a manageable 3rd and short. Throwing on the run, 1st down and more. Once again, the target, Matt Holbrook. Holbrook, not only does he catch now his 44th pass of the year, he's the team DJ. He's the guy that's in charge of bringing the speaker to practice. So an all-round player, Matt Holbrook. See the mobility there from Leongas. This ball in midfield. Not much room that time for Kokosoulias.
That's a nice adjustment by that Loyola front. They've got plenty of beef up there on defense as well, with Omar Mendez at 250, Vito Canizero 240, and Marty Geary at 250. They clogged all 3 gaps in the middle, nowhere for Kokosoulias to go.
Pressure down. Coming hard, Anthony Romano, his 6th sack of the season. Untouched.
By number 40.
John Holisek, great NFL linebacker, sends one of his proteges right here on Leongas.
You know, that's an example of high school football players not necessarily making the adjustment they need to make. Kokosoulias was trying to sneak out into the flat. Now, it's not his assignment to pick up the blitzing Romano, but he's got to know his quarterback's going to get clobbered. Granted, he's giving away about 50 pounds, but you got to at least try and chip him and give your quarterback a chance.
Now it's 3rd and 16. Deep and too deep. Once again, Holbrook was the intended target. Hinkamp there as well. So after an 80-yard touchdown drive on the first possession, Maine South will have to punt the 2nd time they have the ball.
I don't think Nick Leongas is the guy who's going to get gun shy. He's been through these wars before, but on that one, after taking the big sack, looked like he didn't really see where he was trying to put that ball. He just kept it out of danger and threw it down the field.
Sean Mcnulty doubles as a punter. Good punter, great place kicker. This will take a very nice roll to about the 11-yard line. 38 yards on the kick for Mcnulty. We saw the defensive adjustment for Loyola as Maine South come out the same way and make their own adjustment defensively.
First and 10.
I'm sure they've got something in the bag of tricks, Dave. I cannot get over how big this Loyola team is. I'm looking at this offensive line, and it just doesn't look like a high school football team. You've got decent size up front on defense from Maine South, but they're going to lose the weight battle in this one.
Eddie Katowski's 250-pound center over the ball. Arion looking for a hole. He finds one. Arion brought down. Cam Stacy with that tackle. It's a good thing he got him.
Arion's already come out of the pocket a few more times than I expected. He only averaged about 4.5 carries per game during the regular season. Well, I shouldn't say regular season, but in their 13 games coming up today. But he's already come out of the pocket, I think, 3 times tonight.
About 9.5 yards on first down. Rock will get the first down. Kyle Rock was splitting carries during the season with Hamid Bully. They were quite the 1-2 combination in whatever order you wanted, but Bully injured in the final regular season game against Brother Rice, and that means Rock has had to carry the rock. In fact, he did 29 times against Glenbard West in the semifinals for 169 yards. Play action. Over the middle and deep.
He's picked.
It's going to go the other way. Only the second interception thrown all year by Tommy Harrion, and Jack Hoffman will get that interception.
That was just an outstanding break on that football by Jack Hoffman. It was a great read. Remember, I just mentioned, Dave, early in the game, the first possession, Dave Ansara got kind of excited, came off the sideline. He was yelling at Jack Hoffman, and obviously got in his ear because Hoffman, all over this play, breaks in front of the receiver, and just a really nice grab going to the turf.
Boy, everything about that was sweet for Hoffman. He was on the coverage of David Terrell. Down low to Pickett. Jack Hoffman will get those slaps on the helmet and give the ball back to his offense in Loyola territory. Leongas to Tuck. He'll get a couple yards before he's stopped by Omar Mendez. Maine South this season averaging about 39 points per game. They've given up 25. They had a really rough go early in the season, and that, as we talked about earlier, is when Dave and Sarah said, you know, I stopped being stubborn and decided to play some people both ways. Leongas all the way, and it will be 3rd and long after that short pickup.
You know, it's funny how Coach Sarah described it to us, because he said, first, I finally stopped being stubborn. I decided to play some guys both ways, and then a couple weeks after that, I had been protecting Mcnulty because he's a Division I place kicker. We didn't want to use him anywhere else, but I couldn't take his badgering anymore. He said, we finally put him out there at right tackle. He's the only undersized guy on the line, just 6'1", 211. Now he's playing both ways, kicking and punting.
There's room for Leongas. Nice cut for the first down. To the 34-yard line of Loyola. On 3rd down, Leongas needed 6. He got 12.
Dan O'Malley, the big left tackle, got away with one there. It wasn't a dirty play, but on top of the pile, kind of a late push, pushing one of the Loyola Ramblers out of the way. Could have gotten a flag there, but the Stripes kept it in their pocket.
3:40 left here in the first quarter. Turnover has given Maine South the ball, and they've taken advantage of it, picking up a couple of first downs. Catch is made. Loyola says no, and our officials will agree. They went up high to Hinkamp once again.
Camp, an interesting body type at 6'6", not quite 200 pounds. So you've got a tall, thin rail there. Went up, juggled the ball a little bit. I thought he had it, but as he was going to the ground, that he just kept juggling and couldn't hold on.
Ian Swenson on the coverage. Swenson headed to Connecticut to play football. Kokosulias,
the ball carrier.
Number 54, Graham Rep, joined by number 40, Anthony Romano. Rep, according to his coach, the glue to this defense. 100 tackles, 13 of them tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
And at some point when we get a break, we'll tell the Anthony Romano story as well. Another outstanding football player with some history with both of these schools.
Another 3rd and long. 3rd down and 10. And once again, Leon gets to go down. There is Romano, and there is your cue.
Leading tackler on the Loyola Ramblers has a brother, Alex, who played on the 2008-2009 Maine South State Championship teams. When I asked Coach Holisek earlier this week, I wonder who Anthony's brother will be cheering for, Coach got a little upset with me. He said, come on, man, blood is thicker than water. And then we talked to Coach and Sarah about it, and he got very defensive about why Anthony Romano was playing at Loyola and not at Maine South. He said, well, the family had to move out of Park Ridge, and it's not like Anthony didn't want to be here. And so they're actually fighting over a kid who's in the game and on one of the teams.
He comes up with the big play right there and forces another Maine South punt. Mcnulty, does he fire? Oh, he does! At about the 1-foot line.
That's as good as you can do it.
39 yards, anything more than that, it would have been a touchback. Sean Mcnulty strutting his stuff here in Champaign. We are tied at 7 late in the first quarter.
Pretty proud of himself there, huh?
Every one of the Ramblers' feet will be in that orange painted end zone thanks to Sean McNulty's punt. Marion jumps up underneath center. Nobody jumped with him. Ooh, that was a nice catch right there by Harrion. Kyle Rock will hang on to that ball. They decide or attempt to strip it from him. Tommy Harrion, that was a rifle shot snap right back to him that he was able to pull down. A snap from Patty Katowski.
Yeah, that snap came out of there hot. For those of you who were with us for the 7A game, we were talking about some of the poor punt snapping that the long snappers fire them back there. Now that looked like it could have gone all the way back for a punt.
A little bit of breathing room here, though. Once again, Rock right alongside, and once again, he will get it. He'll be short of the 5-yard line and driven back.
I'd say the Maine South defense knows this could be a turning point. They are not letting them off the goal line right now. You've got 3rd and long. I think they'd love to see them try and punt out of the back of the end zone if they can get one more stop here.
See number 42, one of the born leaders, according to Dave and Sarah. That's Michael Pusateri. Players look to him for their inspiration. And here we are at 3rd and 6 from inside the 5. Harrion put that mouth guard in, and off he goes. Flag goes down. Harrion is short. He got to the 10-yard line, needs to get to the 11.
Tommy Harrion on the carry.
This would likely be a hold.
Flag on the play.
You know, Dave, while we wait for the call, you mentioned Pusateri, and not only a leader of young men, but leading by example. A stunning 140 tackles on the season, 11 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. Young man is a senior, not particularly big for the position.
We got a hold on the offense, number 75. That penalty has been declined. 4th down.
Referee Robert Smith, joined by Tony Gualdani, Larry Campbell, Jay Miller, and Brent Garrison. They waited a long time here as we are in the 8th of our 8th game in Thanksgiving weekend play. That penalty, of course, declined. And from his own end zone, Mark Nicholson will have to punt this one away. Nicholson, 35.1 yards per kick. from midfield. Nowhere to go. Good field position for Maine South after that 40-yard punt from Nicholson, and we've completed 1 quarter of play in your 8A championship game. An early touchdown each way, and we're tied at 7 after 1. Starting Monday, December 5th, why don't you break away from the same old sports shows and get your social on with In the Loop on CSN. It's your fast-paced, fresh daily take on sports, featuring trending topics, viral videos, and you in the loop with Luke Stuckmeyer and Layla Rahimi. For here premieres Monday, December 5th at 6 on CSN.
Yeah, Dave, you look down at the Loyola sideline, and they've got what looks to be about a 32 to 40-inch flat screen TV that is obviously hooked up to a camera of some kind, iPads in the coach's hands, and they've got technology there that Bill Belichick even said he doesn't want to use anymore when he threw his iPad the other day.
The incomplete pass on first down.
Obviously, they're coaching them up. They've got the whole Loyola defense over there, you know, taking a look, trying to figure out what went wrong on the offense, I should say, trying to figure out what went wrong on the goal line, and they're going to adjust that way. I guess I just didn't expect to see that kind of technology at a high school football game,
especially with a screen that size. Ramblers defending champs, 13-0. Kokosoulias and a couple of big runs on the opening drive of this game. Once again, the Loyola defense forcing a 3rd down and about 6.
There's something about these two schools, Dave. Obviously, the 1A through 8A designations are based on the enrollment, and the bigger schools with a bigger population are going to have more kids, but that doesn't suggest that they should have bigger, stronger kids or better athletes, and yet these two teams appear to be out here playing the same game, as opposed to some of the lower classes. We saw some one-sidedness on one side or the other.
Maine South needs to get inside the 35-yard line. Not going to do it. Kokosoulias dropped for a loss. Romano once again.
Kokosoulias tackled for a loss by Anthony Romano.
Linebackers, coached by John Holisek, have come up big early.
Down at 8.
That's just a big play by a really good football player again. You know, this young man, Romano, special young man. Holisek talks about him with great reverence. He's certainly thrilled that he's here and not on the Maine South sideline.
Mcnulty will be asked to put this ball inside the 20 once again.
A rugby punt there, huh?
And it's not going to work out for him. That only goes for 13 yards. Dave Ansari, his team had a 77-game conference winning streak snapped in week 7 when New Trier beat the Hawks. And at that point, Ansari said, I'm going to start growing a beard. And I'm not taking it off until after this ball game tonight.
He did, however, tell us he may shave before he gets on the bus to go home. It is coming off tonight.
And the players get to do it if he can pull out a championship win. Herion to the outside. Well, I'm not sure what you and I were talking about before the game, Hub, when we said that Herion doesn't do much running, because that was part of the game plan today.
Yeah, he hasn't done it all year long, but obviously John Holisek and his staff saw something in the game tape that said it's going to be there for him, because he's already got as many carries in, well, early in the second quarter as he normally averages per game.
1-yard touchdown run from Leongas for Maine South. Kyle Rock goes 56 yards. That's our score. Rock will get this pass, and he's got some room. Rock inside the 40-yard line of Maine South.
That is a heck of a play by Matthew Schneider. He had a shoestring tackle there. I'm not so sure that Rock doesn't go all the way again. You're going to see it here. He breaks. He finds the seam here, and Schneider is coming across, and right there he's going to reach out and just get enough to trip him up.
19 yards on that throw, catch, and run. Stops, comes back for a pickup of 5. Rock, a hockey player for Loyola Academy. He's listed at 175 pounds, and John Holisek, he runs like a 200-pound back. He'll come out and get a little bit of a breather. The give is to Chris Novo. Novo has moved into that backup spot after that injury to Hamid Bully has changed the running back plans for the Ramblers.
One thing that will be interesting to see, Dave, if this one turns into the track meet that the first game was, of our 2 games, our 4 teams tonight, Loyola, the only team that has nobody playing both ways. We talked about the improvement in the Maine South defense. They've got 5 guys going both ways. If this one is a track meet, we'll see who's in better shape come the start of the 4th quarter. You would think that would favor Loyola a little bit.
Rock is back in. He will get it. Keeps his feet moving. And this is very close to a first down.
I'd say he's about 6 inches short based on what the official's foot was.
Michael
spot the ball. Looks like they want the chains. No, they don't want the chains. He's about 6 inches short. 4th down. It's hard to believe from the 8th story up here we can see it that well, isn't it?
You are something, my man.
Yeah, it's the binoculars. Forgot him last year. Wasn't going to do it 2 years in a row.
Now into the game at quarterback, Jake Marweedy. He plays all over the field. When he gets it, he's going to run with it. Here he comes. The big man. You're not going to stop him. Short yardage, 6'5", 240-pounder will take it and get the yardage you need. Those are his receiving numbers. Throw in the rushing numbers. He is headed to Duke. And John Holisek believes he is the best football player in the state for all that he can do. And he is one of those group of 4 up there at the top of your screen. Another run from Herian. Tommy Herian in the quarterfinals had to leave the game early. Took a blow to the head. He cleared the concussion protocol, played the entire way in the semifinals last week.
It's really an interesting design of that play because with the 4-man bunch of receivers split out wide left, you're basically trying to block 7 with 5. And I'm not sure why you like those odds. The play only worked for a couple of yards. I'm guessing we're not going to see a lot of that tonight. Probably just trying to trick them up.
Receiving threats again to the top in Herian and Marweedy. On the ground, Rock. That's work for the Ramblers tonight. And he will be close to yet another first down. That was the 8th play of the drive. We're under 7 minutes to play in the first half.
Loyola seems to be settling into that rhythm a little bit now that we've seen them get so often. They've got that huge offensive line. They're just going to lean on you and push you back and wear you down, and that ground game starts to open up, and Rock ripping off nice chunks now.
Already 94 yards and 9 carries. 56 of those came on his touchdown run. And Maine South saw something. Loyola actually saw something they did not like. They'll take the timeout, and we will too. 6:21 to play in the second quarter. This game has settled down a little bit. We're still tied at 7. See a lot of maroon and gold in that picture. Loyola for the playoffs will bring up most of their underclassmen, over 100 players rostered here in the state football playoffs. They occupy a huge chunk of this near sideline. And you see number 12 on the sideline. That means number 14, Jake Marweedy, back in at quarterback on 3rd and a yard. Takes a big hit, and it was big man Kevin Jarvis, 6'5", 340-pound senior. He's committed to Michigan State University, committed last spring. He hits Marweedy hard and denies him the first down.
And as a Michigan alum, I will forgive him for going to Lansing, but it is impressive, Dave. We talked to Dave and Sarah about it, and he said when you see him, he doesn't look 340 pounds. I mean, he's a big man, but that's not a fat 340 pounds. Plenty of muscle on that frame.
Now 4th and less than a yard. Howard to the right side. Marweedy. Does he have enough strength to get there? No. He will not.
Wow. That is a huge stop for Maine South. You've got 3rd and 1 with Marweedy. You take 2 cracks at it, and you would think that it's almost a gimme, but unless they get a really favorable spot, which I don't think they got, it's kind of hard to see. No. They're short.
Well, how many times this year have you seen Jake Marweedy twice in succession, needing a yard for a first down, be denied?
Dave Ansara's got to be careful, though. He's 15 yards off the sideline, belly bumping his players. He's already got 1 sideline warning. You don't want to slow that down now by picking up an unnecessary unsportsmanlike.
McNulty, the first hit. Then it was Holbrook, and then everyone else.
Ball came out, too, although it was late.
Also on the pursuit, Michael Pusateri, Mark Canizares. That ended a 10-play, 52-yard drive that took almost 5 minutes. Leongas. Pass looking to create some open space away from those linebackers. And again, Matt Holbrook just stays on the field. In on the tackle, and the last play gets the reception on that one.
You know, Maine South on offense now, but I started a thought earlier. We went to a break talking about Michael Pusateri. 5'10", 194 with 140 tackles. This is one of those all-effort kids who, unless he can play safety in college, is probably finishing his football career.
Leongas to keep, and he finds a crack. He'll get to the 40-yard line. Jake Gonzalez had to wrestle him down. 22 yards on the run for the senior quarterback from Maine South. Dave and Sarah said this kid was born to be a quarterback. They knew it. The coaching staff at Maine South knew it in flag football, what abilities he had in the game, presence and awareness that he brought to the field. And after that Leongas run, you see just a little bit more hop. Kokosoulias will get that carry. Well, this game 7-7, and we had a couple of touchdowns in the first 4 minutes of the game. Some long runs. It is settled into a defensive game here. Just 4:20 left before the half. Kokosoulias hit, drop, it's a loss.
You know, it's interesting, Dave. One of those two-way players we talked about for Maine South is Kevin Jarvis, the big 6'5", 340-pounders, targeted for Michigan State after this season. He lines up at guard. You would expect to find him out of tackle. They like him inside at left guard. I think in those short yardage situations, it's pretty obvious where Maine South is going to be going should they get into him.
Once again, Loyola Academy has put Maine South in a 3rd and long. But that's going to be broken in a hurry. Kokosoulias, and he'll go down inside the 20-yard line. Right on the money to the 5'8" junior. Kokosoulias, the quick feet got him past the first wave and then tripped up before scoring a touchdown.
Nick Leongas is not a big man. He's 5'10", 188 pounds, a quarterback, but when he sets in that pocket, he knows where he's going.
28 yards on that pass completion, and now the run inside the 10. Kokosoulias again.
Kokosoulias on the carry.
The previous play, Leongas went back. He knew exactly what he was looking for, and he rifled that ball out there and hit Kokosoulias in stride.
Down and 4 at the 10-yard line.
I'll put the ball down at the 10. Leongas looked like he was thinking option there. Instead,
Leongas on the keeper.
Keeps all the way. A little bit of a loss of yardage. And that little glance at the back at Kokosoulias. A little different wrinkle from offensive coordinator Charlie Bliss.
We were talking to Coach and Sarah. We said, describe your offense. And he said, well, it's a Charlie Bliss offense. That's all he had to say about it.
Leongas to keep it. It'll be 4th down, and that will, in all likelihood, bring on one of the top field goal kickers in the country. That is Sean Mcnulty. Mcnulty 12 of 16 this year in field goals. His 28 career field goals, a school record, but he's going to stay on his sidelines, or actually he's going to stay in the offensive line. The Hawks are going to go for it here. And now Dave and Sarah runs down that sideline, takes a timeout.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you would do that.
Timeout on the field. Maine South, that's their first charge timeout of the half.
You've already played a 1-point game with these guys. You've seen how you're going up and down the field. The difference in that 1-point game may have been going for 2 instead of letting Mcnulty kick an extra point after he had missed his only extra point of the season. This field goal for him is, I don't want to call it a chip shot, but it's awfully makeable. You know, we look at the other 3 teams we've had tonight, the most field goal attempts they've had of any of them coming into the night was 2. Here's a kid who's kicked 16 field goals. He's made good on 12 of them, and Coach raved about what a great kicker he is. I would think this is where you'd want to have that weapon. The ball right in the middle of the field. It's at the 8-yard line, so you're talking about a 25-yard field goal.
For Maine South, they check into this game with a 10-3 record. You see those back-to-back losses, Loyola, Barrington, then a little bit later, 2 New Trier. How about that game, the first round of the playoffs, the 42-40 win over West Aurora, the Blackhawks fumbling at the 2-yard line as they were looking to go into the end zone late in that ball game. There is Sean Mcnulty getting that chin strap tightened, and he will look to give his team the lead.
This makes a lot more sense with 1:51 left in the half.
And you will be able to tell the success or failure the same as us. And it's through.
And it is through with conviction. That thing would have been good from 40 or 50. He nailed that. You can tell why they rave about his place-kicking abilities.
Did you hear and feel the thump from up here?
Yeah. I mean, that looked like a big-time kicker. That was not a high school kicker.
So Mcnulty will knock it through. 25-yard field goal gives Maine South the 10-7 lead. So I wonder who got in Dave and Sarah's ear there, because it was almost by surprise a change of thought.
I've had the feeling the whole first half that Dave is, the game's kind of racing with him. He's been really excitable. I haven't really noticed Coach Holisek down here on the other sideline, and I think he figured that one out for himself. Apparently we're told that the biggest problem they have with Mcnulty is convincing him he's just a kicker, because he wants to be on the field for 48 minutes.
That's a 9-play, 75-yard drive that took 3 minutes and 49 seconds and leads to a 25-yard field goal here in the final 2 minutes of the first half. Wind at the back of Mcnulty on this kickoff. Will come out to the 20.
That's a touchback.
It's interesting how that works. That's the second time it looked like he wanted to run out and then came out to the 2 or 3 and stopped, and they gave him the touchback. I'm not sure. I'm told it's an automatic touchback if the ball reaches the end zone.
Now the Loyola offense onto the field, just 1 touchdown tonight. And that came early. It came on a 56-yard run by Kyle Rock at the 8:17 mark of the first quarter. Tommy Harrion onto the field. He's carried 5 times for 32 yards. Only thrown 2 passes, completed 1. Also has thrown an interception. He's the only man in the backfield here. His 3rd pass. Near sideline, Rock with it. Still on his feet. Near the 40-yard line. Jack Hoffman trying to strip the ball from him, and you take a look at Kyle Rock. He looks like he's going half speed, and then he just starts making something happen. That goes for 19 yards.
There are big plays on both sides of the line of scrimmage here from both teams, and the way this game started, if you'd have told me 10-7 with 1:38 and counting at the end of the half, I wouldn't have believed it.
Plenty of time here for the Ramblers. David Terrell with his first catch of the day. Flipped out of bounds there by Holbrook.
David's father, of course, the All-American receiver from the University of Michigan. Still holds the distinction after today, playing on the last Michigan team to win in Columbus in 2000. And, of course, the Chicago Bears.
Time. Right sideline looking for Terrell. And a flag comes out. He was defended there by Holbrook, who can't believe that that flag may be on him. Terrell knows.
It looked like offensive pass interference to me, Dave. We'll see which way they call this. It was Terrell who looked to be holding off Holbrook with his arm. Looks like he thinks he's going to get the call, though.
Yeah, Terrell looked pretty confident.
And he's wrong.
Yes, he is wrong.
Yeah. No, that had to be on him, I thought.
Pass interference on the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty. That'll be a first down.
He's right.
Well, of course, they bring the ball back so they can then step it off. But the way everybody was reacting was it was going to go offensively. Here's a look at it.
So Terrell, all we saw there was a push-off at the very end. I'm not sure.
Well, 15-yard penalty puts the ball at the 41 of Maine South here with 69 seconds to play in the first half. Loyola down by 3. Marion waits, delivers. Great breakup. Number 51. That is Sean McNulty dropping in coverage. Big man. Deep down the field. He's more than just a kicker, folks.
He is obviously all over the football field in the first half of this game. That was a saving play.
Marion looking right all the way. And that will be probably completion to Terrell. Thought he might have bobbled it as he came out of bounds.
He clearly bobbled it. That's another one that would never stand up to replay. Yeah, he held on to the football, but as he stepped out of bounds, he was juggling it.
There's his numbers for the year.
Third and 2 at the 30-yard line.
Doesn't have his dad's size. His dad was a big receiver at about 6'2", 215. David just 5'11", about 180.
He's really come into his own this season. First down run inside the 30. Now we've seen Marwidi a couple of times run the ball, maybe 3 times from the
first down for Loyola.
Wildcat position, if you will. Not really a Wildcat type quarterback, but other than that, he's not touched the ball. We're down to 45 seconds here in the first half. Looking for 6, looking for Terrell, just out of his reach. He had beaten Holbrook by about a step.
Incomplete.
So the Ramblers take a pop to the end zone there.
He obviously thinks they have found something in that matchup with David Terrell and Holbrook, and he did have that step and a half on him, and unfortunately for them, Harrion just got the ball too far out in front of him.
Holbrook will give a couple of steps to Terrell. Going that way again. What's interesting on this particular drive, that combination. Number 1, David Terrell, against number 23, Matt Holbrook.
I'm not sure what the point of that one was. It's clearly a sideline route, good for about 4 yards, but with just 32 seconds left, I'm not sure why you'd want to throw a quick 4-yard pass.
Loyola looking for the end zone on this possession. A little bit of a delay. If you're looking ahead, field goal would come from Patrick Kramer. Good carry in his own right.
Well, they're short of the first down. This would be about a 37-yarder if they wanted to try it.
We saw Harian trying to put the ball right between the hash marks.
Timeout on the field. Loyola, their second timeout.
Well, this leads to an interesting decision. 4th and a yard, and the last time you were in this part of the field and this distance from a first down, twice your big man Marwidi was stopped short of the first down. Let's take a look at how Loyola made their way through this season. They're playing Milwaukee. Marquette took on Maine South, Mount Carmel. Look at this schedule. Fenwick, St. Rita, Brother Rice. That was a thrilling ball game to close out the regular season, 48-37. Then pretty much cruised through these playoffs. Dominating win over last year's 7A champions Glenbard West this past Saturday.
The other thing that could play into Coach Holisek's decision here, Loyola with just 1 timeout remaining. So if they are going to go for it, have Marwidi go into the line, they're going to be able to stop the clock with just about 20 seconds, 19 seconds left, but then they won't be able to stop the clock again. And they're, yeah, let's stand in front of the heater and blow hot air on our leg.
That's number 19, Patrick Kramer. Mark Nicholson, the punter, also warming up. Don't think Nicholson will be needed right now, and neither will Kramer. Ramblers to go for it here.
Kramer didn't look too happy about it either.
Marwidi is there. Loyola needs a yard. He'll have it this time.
Now the clock will stop with the first down, unless they took the timeout. Did they take the timeout?
No, I think they're just hustling people onto the field here. And now they do.
Timeout. Loyola, that's their 3rd and final timeout of the first.
I'm not sure they had the exact personnel they wanted or wanted to burn another 7 or 8 seconds getting everybody lined up.
So the ball just inside the 18, about 17 and a half. I guess you're looking for David Terrell in the end zone. You might as well take a pop to the end zone, because what you do not want to do is throw the ball over the middle of the field and have that clock keep running unless you get a first down.
The height mismatch, though, would come from Marwidi at 6'5" and the big body at 240 pounds. You have, well, where are we at here? You're inside the 20. You have about 3 plays here. You can actually work some time off the clock through this 21 seconds. But out of timeouts. See Dave Insera, he doubles as the defensive coordinator for Maine South.
Kramer is still warming up here, so obviously they're going to run something that's going to allow them to stop the clock if they don't get to the end zone.
Kramer's 3 of 4 in field goals, a long of 34. He's got several Division I schools interested in him, including the University of Illinois. Sideline, got him. They'll say he's out of bounds at the 1-yard line. 16 yards on that completion with 15 seconds to play and a half.
How do you not give it to Marwidi now? I'm trying the middle of that line. Boy, you better get up quick if he doesn't get there, though.
Good job by Holbrook to deny the touchdown.
This will be a Maine South timeout.
Maine South.
Well, that's interesting, too. You know, in terms of 15 seconds left, no timeouts left for Loyola. Since that was out of bounds, the clock would start with the snap of the ball, but if they don't get a yard, that clock could run out.
See a nice little comeback route from Terrell here. He'll push to the end zone, turn, and then reach for the pylon and just can't get there. That's a pretty nice saving play out there. Your defensive back, and I believe that is, let me get my right defense here, Matt Holbrook again. Yeah, that's that matchup that we've seen on that side this whole quarter. Matt Holbrook and David Terrell. Terrell gets the best of it that time, but Holbrook makes a saving play, at least gives them another chance, Maine South that is, to get to the locker room with the lead.
There is Jake Marwidi right in the middle of your picture. See where number 14 ends up here, as these teams will be brought off their sidelines. You see the offensive line. Ooh.
I think it's worth noting with Mr. Marweedy, obviously more than just a football player, because even the football players have to know how to open the books to get into Duke. And so he may have a football career playing on Sundays, but if not, he's going to come away with a heck of a valuable diploma.
And he's going to get the snap here with 15 seconds left, looking for the go-ahead score. And he'll walk it on in.
That was a little too easy.
The 11th play of the drive results in a go-ahead Loyola touchdown. Jake Marweedy with it, and it's a 13-10 Ramblers lead.
You know, it's interesting, Dave. Loyola will go to the locker room at halftime with the lead, short of a small miracle here. And while it was a fairly evenly matched first half, you almost had the feeling that Maine South had a little bit better of the action, and yet somehow Loyola gets to take a lead to the locker room at halftime.
Kramer for that extra point. He will get it. And an impressive drive. How about 11 plays, 80 yards, covering 1:33. The final time left on the clock, just 13 seconds here in the first half.
There's NFL teams that can't run 11 plays in 1:33. That is a really well-coached football team, and a great job by Harrion. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, he's the guy who had to be the field general on that. And to get 11 plays in 1:33, even if you did use up your timeouts, that's just very, very impressive.
John Hollisek, state championship last year. Loyola also picked up one in 1993, 3 second-place finishes in 92 and 2011 and 2013. Maine South, 3 losses this year. They had a run of 3 straight championships in 2008, 9, and 10. Prior to that, championships in 1995 and in 2000. It was a tough run for Dave and Sarah. In 2003, 04, and 05, the Hawks were here and finished second. 14-10 lead for the defending 8A champions. From the 15-yard line, Sasso to the near side. Brought down, 6 seconds to play in the first half after a 25-yard return.
You know, if you think about it, Dave, that said, disappointment in those 3 second-place finishes. How about 6 trips to the state title game in 8 years? That's not a bad run.
Yeah. This would be the first year, if Maine South wins this, they would win a state title with a 3-loss team. Twice they won with undefeated state champs. They had a 1-loss championship in 2000. A couple of teams that won a state title with 2 losses. So that was one of the focuses after that loss to New Trier that gave Maine South their 3rd loss this season. They wanted to be the first team in Maine South history to win a title with 3 losses. Shot clock, or shot clock. It's not basketball season here in Champaign.
We thought it was going to be after those first 2 drives, though, didn't we?
Here you go. That play clock runs down. There was a timeout left for Maine South if they wanted it. Did they get it? There's 1 second on the game clock.
There's a flag out there for something. Not sure what. Now they put it back to 6 seconds now.
And ball starts on the offense.
That's why.
5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Yeah, we kidded about it a little bit on the phone during the week. I'm not going to give the year because it was back in the Stone Ages, but when I went to Deerfield High School, Central Suburban League, Deerfield and Maine South were the 2 main rivals. Between us, we had dominated the conference for a number of years, and a lot of fun memories of playing against Maine South back in the day.
Youngest, final play of the first half. Over the middle, and a man open, Himkamp. Interception drop, no harm done there by Ryan Lynn Peastrip. And Loyola will leave this field. Peastrip's gonna just get to that. Hey, everybody else coming? Yeah, yep. Ryan, they're all coming behind you as Loyola comes off the field.
He left his state championship game interception on the field. I think he's gonna get credit for the pick on that. And why not try and run it back? He had the ball.
So the defending Class 8A state champions will leave with a 14-10 lead, an impressive drive to close out the first half. And how about this drive for the Ramblers? They took it right down the field, and this combination between Harrion and Rock got things rolling, and all of a sudden it became Harrion and David Terrell.
You know, Dave, they really worked the sidelines well. They used the sidelines to stop the clock. 11 plays in a minute 33 before Marweedy took it in.
John Holisek, head coach of Loyola Academy, with us. And coach, that's about as impressive a drive to close out a half as I believe that we've seen on a high school level.
Yeah, we're pretty good at the 2-minute drill. We've practiced a lot, but you know, we just need to settle down. I think Tommy, once he settles down, I think the second half's going to be much better for him.
You know, Coach, the way it started, we thought we were going to see 44-43 again, but the defenses did seem to settle down a little bit right after those first 2 drives.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes mentally for us, and you know, obviously that they've got a lot of speed and some talent over there that so poses a lot of problems, especially when they open you up. So we have to cover well, better, and get after the passer.
All right, very good. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, that's John Holisek, head coach at Loyola, looking to go back-to-back for a state championship. And thanks to that long drive at the end and Marweedy's touchdown run, they have that 14-10 lead. We've got halftime here in Champaign, your 8A title game.
Hey, welcome back. The Loyola Band just wrapped up a rousing rendition of Go Cubs Go, hoping they'll also be champions this year. It's halftime here in Champaign, and we have a tightly contested 8A championship game as Maine South trails Loyola Academy 14-10. Tim, what surprised you the most about this game so far?
There's a little bit. I mean, I think we forget that this is week 14. It's not week 2. The difference between week 2 and week 14 right now is about probably 40 to 50 degrees outside. Passing numbers are down compared to what I think all of us kind of expected. I'll say the weather might have a little factor, and obviously some great defense being played. We talked about this being a chess match, and
sure,
it definitely is a chess match. I thought it took the Loyola offense maybe a quarter or so to get going, but as we saw, the tail half of the second quarter really started to click offensively for Loyola.
And Maine South's defense also really picking it up. We were both shocked when Jake Marweedy had that 3rd and 1 and just couldn't get over the hump, couldn't get the first down, and it was surprising to both of us. But then later in the game, he comes back in, he punches it in for the 1-yard touchdown. He's just such a big force on the field. He
really is, and so versatile, and so many different things he can do. And you mentioned Maine South's defense. I mean, that's been one of the improving storylines all playoff long, and they're bringing it in this ball game. I mean, they have played very well. If you're Dave and Sarah, you've got to be thrilled at how your defense has played in the first half.
If you are Dave and Sarah, what's concerning you the most about your team?
You know, I just think that they've been able to break off a couple of big plays here. They got to be able to finish. And, you know, you got to be able to take that momentum, and they just haven't been able to seem to hang on to that right now. That has to change in the second half.
Well, we will be back in just a few minutes with our country financial memorable moments.
We've had a great team at U-High. I'm Lori Adams, and I am an assistant speech and debate coach. Originally, it was hard to get enough students together to field a full team, but we managed to actually tie for the sectional championship our 3rd year. Within 6 years, we actually were able to compete at the IHSA state tournament in speech and win. It's amazing to watch students grow into champions. It takes an enormous amount of hard work. Country Financial is a great fit for me because we're large enough to be competitive, but not so large that we forget that there are individuals involved. At Country, you're a person. And you're a person who has the opportunity to make a difference. It's about relationships. So it makes perfect sense that we have a partnership with IHSA because it's all about building supportive relationships.
Welcome back. Halftime here at the 8A title game. Loyola Academy has a 4-point lead over Maine South. The band is on the field. Team's about ready to come back out and start getting warmed up, and we We're nice and warm in our cozy little studio here at Memorial Stadium alongside Edgy Tim. I'm Sierra Santos. We had a lot of highlights, maybe not the kind that we had in the previous games where it was touchdown after touchdown, but there were some really significant plays. Let's go ahead and start taking a look. A guy with a name you can't forget, Fotis Kokosoulias. 25-yard run. He gets things going. Then immediately after, a 46-yard run up the middle, and that would lead to a touchdown for Nick Leongas, a quarterback sneak. That put Maine South up 7-0. And there was a guy you told me to keep an eye out for. I believe it is him.
Kyle Rock, again, he's been a nice story here, especially in the postseason, coming in as a backup.
He answers back with a 56-yard rushing touchdown. And then it was Maine South with a couple key defensive stops that really impressed the both of us.
Yeah, I mean, this has not happened very often this season, Sierra. And again, you're stopping a potential All-American there, right there in Jake Marweedy.
And it was 2 times that they actually stopped him. And then you had that Leongas slap pass to Kokosoulias. He really took it deep into their territory. That set up a Sean Mcnulty field goal that made it 10-3 Maine South. And then Loyola decides to come marching back down.
Tommy Harry, nice pass in the corner to David Terrell, set that up for
Jake Marweedy. 1-yard touchdown run, 11 plays, 80 yards, 33 seconds. And those were the highlights. Here are the stats. You look at it, it's
pretty balanced, pretty
even.
You just don't see, it doesn't really show you. Every play has been so, magnified here.
Right.
Just some terrific big stops, and again, a very even game, and the score reflects that as well.
What do you think is going to have to break for one of these teams to really get an advantage?
Well, I just think if you're Maine South, you want to keep going what you've been doing and maybe get that first quarter mojo back that you had, able to hit a couple of big plays early in that first quarter, try to get that back. And Loyola, I think they found that mojo in the second quarter, able to get that offense on track. Again, I just think we're in for the remainder of this game is going to be back and forth. And again, value those possessions. Maybe a 1 turnover kind of deal could win a state title.
You were impressed by Maine South's speed, and so was John Holisek as well. He said that the defense kind of calmed down, but he admitted they're pretty good at that 2-minute drill, huh?
Yeah, they are, and that's been a staple of that offense as well. We hear about the defense. Offense has been a huge story, especially this year for Loyola.
Well, in just 2 quarters, an 8A champion will be named. Will it be a repeat and a perfect season for Loyola Academy, or will we see a new champion in Maine South? We'll have the action after this.
Back at Memorial Stadium here where it's halftime, just moments away from getting started in that second half, a 14-10 lead for Loyola Academy. Great for you to have us with us, or us to be with you, whichever way you'd like to do it. We're glad to be here for you. How about that? We take a look and touchdown, and all of a sudden the defense has absolutely kicked in. Hub, I thought one of the key moments was when Anthony Romano really exerted himself in that first quarter, kind of changed the tone of the game.
Yeah, you've got 2 clear leaders of these defenses, Romano for Loyola, Pusateri obviously for Maine South. Both young men asserted themselves after those opening drives. They seem to be trying to lead their football teams both by talking to their teammates and leading by example, making plays. And really, I thought 4 minutes in we're looking at 44-43 again, but it just settled into a defensive struggle. That final drive at the end of the first half by Loyola, very, very impressive. It would have been easy to just go to the locker room, but they did a nice job, and Maine South obviously very much in it as well.
The one thing that's fun about this ball game, not only do you have 2 great teams, you can really tell the great coaching staffs that are involved in this game.
Yeah, I thought it was funny when John Holisek said, well, we're pretty good at the 2-minute drill. And it's pretty clear to me that they have done a nice job with Maine South, of really adjusting that defense. It's not just the 2-way players. They've obviously changed some things with the scheme as well.
Both teams closing out their warm-ups here as they get started for the final moments of many of them, their high school seasons. Get a look at Maine South, number 75 there, Kevin Jarvis, and the head coach for Maine South, Dave Ancera, joins us. And Dave, you're double up as the defensive coordinator. What was the focus at halftime?
Yeah, you know, we did a nice job in the first half. I didn't like that drive at the end of the half, giving up 7 points. So it's just trust what we're doing. They like to read what you're doing and try to go opposite, so we got to think that way a little bit.
Dave, you seemed a little torn before going for the field goal late in the first half. What was your thought process on that?
We were looking at it. Close enough yardage that maybe we go for it, but we put the points on the board.
What difference do you see from Loyola defensively tonight than maybe you saw 12 weeks ago?
Nothing different. They bring pressure from all different angles. We talked to our linemen just about keeping their heads up and trusting keeping the pocket.
All right, thanks a bunch. Good luck.
All right, thanks, guys. Great job.
Thank you. Great job. That's nice for him to say. These teams down here are doing the great job here tonight, huh?
He's coaching us too, obviously. Just telling everybody to keep it up. And I'll tell you, I'm so impressed with both of these football teams. You know, we did the 8A game last year in DeKalb, and Loyola was rolling about 4 minutes into the game. You just knew it was never a contest. Tonight, you've got two really evenly matched teams. Normally, when you see a rematch of a game like that, a 1-point game, one team or another is going to assert themselves a little bit, but they are every bit as equal through one half of football as they were when they went 44-43. Oh, what is it, about 11 weeks ago now?
Well, it's one turnover in the first half. That was an interception thrown by Tommy Harry, and only his second interception of the season. And you know, you hold your breath for every play offensively, but there's a sense here that there could be that one defensive play that could kind of flip this into more than just a one-possession game.
Well, and the thing that is so fascinating about it is that you saw how that instant offense can come from Kyle Rock. We saw the same thing from Fotis Kokosioulis. I mean, and it can still happen at any moment, even as well as these defenses have played. We saw it in the first half. We could see it again. You just wonder if it isn't going to be one huge play like that that eventually is the difference in this football game.
It was that long drive, the long drive that really didn't take too long. Led to the Marweedy touchdown for Loyola, and now the Ramblers will get things back here to start the second half. They won the toss to begin the ball game. They deferred to the second half, and that could prove to be a bonus for them right here.
One other thing we'll keep an eye on is obviously Loyola thinks they have found something in that matchup between David Terrell and Matt Holbrook, so we'll keep an eye on that one as well.
Sean McNulty against the wind. And that is in the end zone, so Loyola start at their 20. You know what a weapon it is too when you have a kicker that can put the ball in the end zone with consistency. Well, it was an 80-yard drive to a touchdown for Loyola the last time they had the ball. They will look to go 80 yards here again. There is Jake Marweedy, the go-ahead touchdown run after being stopped on 3rd and 4th downs earlier in the second quarter.
It's interesting, Marweedy's such a weapon, split out wide now, lines up at quarterback, lines up at tight end. You'll find him everywhere on the field.
Start on the ground and start with negative yardage. Tackle for a loss by Jack Pistorius. Kyle Rock, the big first half for Rock, 94 yards on 9 carries. And that is a -1 here to start the second half. Motion from Rock. And that's where the ball's going. And a nice ankle tackle. Denied Kyle Rock a chance to get a little bit more. Again, it was Pistorius on this tackle.
That play it's really just a long handoff, and it seems like such a risky throw when you could just throw the short pitch. It's obviously a staple of this Loyola offense, but you keep waiting for something to go wrong on that play.
Time in the pocket. And a knockdown, and that one came from Matthew Schneider. And that will force the Ramblers to punt here on the opening possession of the second half. And a big crowd from Maine South happy about that. Schneider's making sure they do keep pumped up.
Yeah, for the most part, the second half starts the way the first one ended. This is a defensive struggle. No shootout here tonight.
Nicholson kick, a line drive to the outside. Sasso across midfield. Will be thrown forward to about the 45-yard line. Good field position here for Maine South to start their opening offensive drive. 33-yard punt, a return of 9 yards. Puts that ball right at the Loyola 45.
That was that classic example of when you see the ball carrier, his legs should never stop churning. I think Sasso's legs were still going as he went horizontal on his way out of bounds.
Here it is.
Yeah, you'll see he's met here. He refuses to go down. Driving. There it is. Yeah, he's driving all the way out of bounds.
See Maine South coming on the field. They kind of peel off. There's those three wide receivers up at the top. Await the snap to Leongas. Here comes a blitz. Leongas runs right through the middle. And that's a quick 8 yards.
Leongas, the ball carrier.
Something you'll see a lot of the pistol and spread teams do in college. You spread 3 wide one way, 2 wide the other way. Secondary and linebackers have to split out to cover them, and that leaves you 5-on-5 up front. And that's when that middle will open for that quick hitter.
Kokosoulias. It's clogged up in the middle. Number 90 is Vito Canizzaro at the bottom.
Ball carrier.
Kokosoulias in that first half, 92 yards. Those came on a 46-yard run. Now the Hawks face a third down. Leongas on the move, and that is a first down completion. Leongas gets it to Matt Holbrook, who is not leaving the field. Wide receiver, defensive back.
I hadn't thought about it until you mentioned it just now, Dave, but you say Kokosoulias with 96 yards in the first half, but almost 80 on their first possession,
right.
So held to just 16 yards on his last 7 carries.
Flag was down in the middle of that play, and now another late flag comes out after the whistle. These penalty flags are scattered at different parts of the field.
I wonder if it's not 2 different calls. Looks like it is.
The first flag came out near where that pass was thrown.
Got a hold on the defense. Number 15, 10-yard penalty, results in a first down.
Evidently, that second flag just got stuck in the pocket. Ian Swenson on the coverage. Great lacrosse player, as we said, headed to UConn for football. And it is a first down, Maine South at the 21-yard line. They look for the go-ahead score here early in the third period. Leongas stood up and sent back.
That was a bad decision by Leongas. He kept the ball, was going to go off left tackle, tried to cut it back inside the tackle where it was all clogged up. Had he kept going, it might have only been 4 or 5, but it would have been a nicer first down play.
See Kokosoulias there did not get the handoff, and it may have been a good thing because there was pressure from Romano. In heavy coverage. Once again, Swenson on the coverage. Cam Stacy was the intended receiver.
Cam Stacy.
Tried to squeeze it into a little too tight a spot there. Threw a fastball, which I think had something to do with that ball not getting tipped or picked off. But that's probably not the kind of coverage Leongas wants to go into again.
Edgy Tim O'Halloran was talking at halftime about how the weather definitely is different than week 2. So the passing numbers have been reflected in that. Here's a third down and 9. Pocket collapses. Leongas with room to the outside. looks for a man in the end zone. Touchdown, Maine South. 20 yards to Luke Hinkamp. And the Hawks go back on top.
Dave, that is a heck of a throw from a young quarterback on the move. Only 5'10", 185 pounds, and yet going to his left is able to get that ball out of his right arm on a line as he spots his open receiver in the end zone, catches it just before he goes into the corner, and you've got Maine South back in the lead.
Converted a couple of third downs en route to a 6-play, 45-yard drive. Took a little over 2 minutes. McNulty's extra point is through. And we have a 3-point game. We flip it over to the Maine South side. 17-14 here in your 8A championship game. Whole bunch of red and black over there, and guess what? That's the Chicago Blackhawks colors. Tuesday night on CSN, the Blackhawks return to the United Center to face Jaromir Jagr and the Florida Panthers. Stream it on the NBC Sports app beginning at 7 with Chevy Blackhawks pregame live. And I'll bet you some of those guys will be watching the Hawks in action. but priority number one is Maine South. That's pretty clear right now. $8:28 to play in the third quarter. Back and forth we go. Once again, the Rambler to start at the 20.
McNulty weapon again as he gets the ball into the end zone. They're taking away the big play possibility and creating excellent field position, forcing Loyola to go 80 yards if they want to regain the lead.
Difference in each of the first possessions here to the third quarter. Third down conversions. Loyola was 3 and out. Maine South converted a couple of them en route to that 20-yard touchdown pass. Go for 5, maybe 6.
Kind of rocked the ball forward.
Rock was down before that ball came out. Passing numbers tonight for Tommy Harrion. 7 of 11 for 77 yards. Kyle Rock approaching the 100-yard mark on the ground.
John Holisak has really kind of taken the air out of the ball for Tommy Harrion tonight. Be interesting to see if they continue that through the rest of this game. If they're going to have runs like that.
Rock ran right into Patrick McCarthy. 218-pound nose guard. Rock just all of a sudden saw number 18 in his face right there.
Boy, that's just an old-time stick. They just met shoulder to shoulder, and Rock went backwards.
And we look at another third down. Total yardage, almost dead even. Arian needs 5 yards for a first down, and he takes a big hit. Mcnulty with the stick on Harrion.
Sean McNulty just blew up Tom Harrion. There's no other way to put it. He met him shoulder to shoulder, and Harrion went backwards quickly. Dave, McNulty may have a future as a kicker in Division I, but he looks like a guy who wants to play some football besides just kicking to me.
As you said, he had been begging for a couple of years. Nicholson's able to regain control, and off the side of his foot, great field position here for Maine South after just a 15-yard punt. And the crowd from Park Ridge going nuts.
I think we're going to take one more look at this big blow that Mr. Harrion's going to take from Sean McNulty, and boom, just absolutely meets him and sends him backwards, and is pretty happy about it when he gets up off the ground too.
It's pretty unusual to see a Division I or a future Division I kicker wearing number 51. But you have seen why here tonight and why the senior year for Sean Mcnulty has been very special. He didn't play offense or defense his sophomore, junior years.
Well, even more unusual to see a kicker make a hit like that. My God.
Leongas in trouble. He'll be swarmed down. It was Omar Mendez who'll get credit for that sack, number 50.
Yeah, that's one thing you can bet on is nice play by Mcnulty, big stop by Maine South. This Loyola team isn't going anywhere. These are the defending state 8A champions, and they're going to have a few sticks of their own to make tonight.
They came into this season as the heavy favorite at the beginning of the year, and they have ridden that. Loyola has to a 13-0 record. Maine South 10-3. They had a couple of losses back-to-back to Loyola and Barrington. A later one in New Trier, and again Leongas in trouble. Somehow he gets it to Stacy.
I'm not sure how he got that ball out, and he took a hit. But one thing about this Leongas kid, he doesn't ever seem to absorb the blow. You know, he got hit, but he didn't exactly go flying the way we just saw some of those Loyola players go flying.
Third down and 14 from midfield. It will be fourth down.
That ball almost looked like it slipped out of his hands, didn't it? It looked like he had Hincamp open, past the first down marker, or at least close to it. And that ball didn't even get close as he turfed it between two receivers.
Yeah, the way he delivered it, he had the confidence that he thought he was going to get something, and it just didn't happen, and Hincamp pretty much accepted. You see big number 9 there, 6'6", that's a pretty good target for a quarterback. Heck, he's a helmet taller than everybody.
Why am I guessing he's a basketball player? 6'6", 198. He's got to be a basketball player, isn't he?
McNulty's had some good punts, and this is going to be another one. Look at this. At the 5-yard line after a 45-yard kick from Sean Mcnulty. 5:03 to play in the third quarter. Number 51, Sean McNulty having a night. His team's on top by 3. We make the transition from football to basketball because Wednesday night, Jimmy Butler, Dwayne Wade, and the Bulls eye their second win this month over the LA Lakers. You can stream it all on the NBC Sports app beginning at 6:30 with Bulls pregame live, presented by Coors Light. Dave Bernhard with Hub Arkish, our statistician, Mike Ventry, the defensive backs coach at Naperville North High School. That will be an old title. He is the IHSA TV statistician. All 8 games this weekend for Mike. Appreciate his help up here in the booth, and a completion, a long pass that ends up in the hands of Jack Martinez for his first catch of the night. The gain is 18. The pass was about 45 yards.
Yeah, the last time McNulty pinned them deep at the 1-foot line, they tried to run it out. That didn't go so well, so this time they decided, let's get out of here right now.
Ramblers get to the line in a hurry. Snap just as quickly. A little fake from Harry, and he's going to go deep. Traffic, and it's caught! David Terrell, the reception.
Pass complete. David Terrell.
Concentration and execution. Harrion to Terrell.
Terrell was actually double covered on that particular play. He had both Matthew Schneider and Jack Hoffman, and he just took the ball away from both of them.
That's a 42-yard pass and catch. Rock up the middle. And just like that, Loyola right back at it.
Well, Dave, this is something we talked about throughout the first half. A little surprised that Harrion was running as much as he was, that they took the air out of the ball on him. Now they're airing it out a little bit, coming off the goal line quick.
Boy, and the pace is quick as well. All of a sudden, they've ratcheted up, getting up to the line and going. That's enough for another first down.
First down for Loyola.
Pause momentarily for those chains to set, and the Ramblers are ready. To the air, to the sideline. And that combination has been clicking. It's incomplete on this particular play. But the Terrell-Harrion combination is connected 5 times for 76 yards.
And that time Maine South had Matt Holbrook back on him after he just beat Matthew Schneider and Jack Hoffman. Only the sideline stopped that play. Nobody on the Maine South team is stopping David Terrell right now.
Harrion took a hit there as he released, and
that's a bad call. He had that ball. He's only 1 foot, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, he had that ball. That's too bad.
Now on the ground. Hard running to near the 15-yard line. Rock getting the dirty yards. 3rd and short.
7 yards. It's 3rd down. 3rd.
We got Loyola in trouble. I don't see the big screen TV with the iPads anymore. So I was just looking down to see if they were trying to figure it out. I'm sure we didn't get in trouble. I'm kidding.
Enough for a first down? No.
Rock, the ball carrier.
Interesting play. It was a direct snap to Rock that wasn't really clear if it was supposed to be a direct snap to Rock or not. It was over the right shoulder of Harrion, and he looked like he expected Rock to get it. So I think that was the trickeration in the play, if you will. No, he did go for it. That ball was not supposed to go to Rock. Harrion stuck a hand out and realized that Rock had it. That was just a bad snap.
And a break. Now, that ball didn't end up at about the 40-yard line on the snap. It's now 4th down and 2. Loyola down by 3. They need to get to the 14 and a little beyond. Marweedy. He'll get to the outside. Has it more. It'll be 1st and goal.
Jake Marweedy on the keeper. The 1st down for Loyola.
It really is a little surprising, Dave, that Marweedy doesn't get the ball more often than he does. And I think one of the reasons he doesn't seem to have a true position. This is not an offense that runs with a tight end, which is where you would expect to find a guy at 6'5", 240 with his athleticism. They're getting the ball in his hands, but I'm surprised they don't get in his hands more.
Vernon Green in the backfield with Marweedy. To the left again. And he's tripped up for a loss. Mcnulty gets a hand on the ankle and foot, and Mcnulty
is not getting up.
He was looking up at his teammate, wanted to give him a little bit of a hand. Mcnulty said, no, not yet.
I wonder if he got kicked in the face. It looked like, because that was definitely another one of those shoestring grabs as Marweedy was going by him.
Take a look.
Look here. You see Marweedy is going to get by him. He grabs him. Yeah, he got kicked in the face mask. I'm not sure if that's what the injury was, but he took the heel in the face mask.
He will have to come out.
He's holding his side. Looks like he might have taken one in the rib as well. Holding his right side. Have to keep an eye on that. A 3-point game with one of the best place kickers in the country. That could be very significant.
Marweedy rushed for 5 touchdowns against Brother Rice, doing what you are seeing right now. Here's the 10th play of this drive as the Ramblers look to go back on top. Nothing fancy. It will be 3rd and goal from there.
I believe I said he was disappointed that he didn't get the ball more. He's carried it 4 straight times. So I think we got a direct pipeline down to Halisek right now.
Let's see where number 14 ends up. He'll check that sideline, and he'll tell by the personnel grouping that will come out as to where he is supposed to be, and he will be split out. Harrion back in the game. 3rd and goal from the 8. Looking for that go-ahead score here in the 3rd quarter of the 8A championship game. And down he goes! It was Kevin Jarvis. Number 75, the sack for a loss of 12.
Kevin Jarvis got one arm around Tommy Harrion, and they collapsed. You don't hold up 340 pounds. And that is one big man who got a great rush on that particular play, and it was all over for Harrion. You see the replay here. It really hit him so much, he just kind of leans on him, and there he goes.
That will bring on Patrick Kramer attempting a game-tying field goal of 34 yards. That would match Kramer's longest of the season. Here's the kick.
You got it.
And it's good, and we are tied at 17.
35 yards on the field.
Out of that long drive, the Ramblers get 3.
Loyola 17, Maine South 17.
We got ourselves a football game with 12 seconds left in the third period. Dave, we knew these guys were evenly matched. Last time, 44-43, as neither offense could be stopped. And tonight, it is all about the defenses and big plays.
Let's take a look at this drive. It covered 12 plays, 77 yards, almost 5 minutes. This is how it started, inside the 5-yard line. The pass to Martinez. Little breathing room. This was a big one to Terrell.
Double coverage. That is such a nice grab.
Jake Marweedy on 4th down. And the next 4th down play results in 3. 17-17.
I'll tell you what, Mcnulty may be the story as a place kicker, but that ball Kramer just hit would have been good from 45.
Kramer invited to play in a USA AFW team in Italy in April.
Also just bombed that out of the end zone. That didn't touch down until it was about 6 yards deep. A little adrenaline in that kick.
Maine South took an early 7-0 lead. Kyle Rock's touchdown run tied it at 7 at the end of 1. Mcnulty knocked home a 25-yard field goal in the second quarter with 1:46 to play for a 10-7 Maine South lead. Then Marweedy kept a long drive with a short touchdown run. Maine South now down 14-10 going into the third quarter. But then Leongas connects with Hincamp for 20 yards, a 17-14 Maine South lead. You saw the field goal. That's how we get to 17-0. Sneaky little handoff there to Kokosoulias in a short game.
It was almost like a quick snap. It looked like there were still people in motion. The defense wasn't really set for Loyola, and couldn't tell if they were really running a play or not.
We are going to the fourth quarter, the 8A title game. And you're staying right there, 17-17. The 2016 IHSA Football State Championships are brought to you by Country Financial. Country Financial will help you build a plan with insurance and financial solutions to help you get to where you want to go. Call your local rep at 1-866-COUNTRY or visit countryfinancial.com. With Hub Arkush, I'm Dave Bernhardt, and this one is going down to the final minutes. We've reached the final 12 in regulation. Youngest, a little jump pass. Is able to connect to Cam Stacy.
Well, Dave, I think the best thing about this, we were just talking during the break between the third and fourth quarter with our director and producer, Russ Leonard, in the booth, and it's such a well-played game. I mean, it's not just that they're evenly matched. It's not just that you're tied with 11.5 minutes to go, but really nice plays from both sides, very few mistakes, not a lot of penalties. These are two really good teams playing at their peak right now.
And a 3rd down and 4 here early in the 4th. Leongas not going to get it. Not there. He was looking for a hole that was never to be.
Leongas on the keeper.
Let's see if Mr. Mcnulty is healthy. He would be the punter if he is, and there he is. Yeah, he's right back on the field out of his tackle screen.
Now the wind at his back. Youngest not too happy about that last play as he heads to that Maine South sideline. This ball is up, it is deep, and it takes a great roll. Wow. What a night Mcnulty has had with that right leg. This another one inside the 10, 65-yard punt.
Well, Dave, a 65-yard punt, and yes, he got a nice roll, but he also got it up in the wind and got hang time on that kick. This is a heck of a punt at any level, let alone in high school football. Look at the hang time, the elevation he gets on that ball, and then he gets the roll to boot.
3rd time he's had a punt go inside the 10-yard line.
So he's got about a 23-yard roll. That's still a 42-yard punt before the roll.
So Loyola will start deep in their own territory from their own 7. Arian with the legs. That ball's fumbled.
Yep.
And it will go to Maine South. On the bottom of the pile was Jack Hoffman. And the Hawks are in business inside the 20.
Get a look at it here. You see Harrian's got a really nice game, and that gain, I should say. And then as he goes to the ground, that ball was punched out of there. I couldn't get the number of the player in the pile who punched it, but it's definitely a fumble, a great play. I still can't get a number on who it was who punched that ball.
I believe that was Mcnulty, 51.
Of course, it would have to be Mcnulty, wouldn't it?
Straight up the middle. Room! Youngest touchdown, just like that. Maine South on a 17-yard touchdown run from Nick Leongas goes on top once again.
17 yards and a Hawk touchdown.
One play after the fumble. Leongas strikes.
That is sudden change football, and Loyola could not play sudden change defense on that one. It opened up like the Red Sea in the middle. There's the extra point, a 7-point lead for Maine South. You know, Dave, I'm not sure we're going to find out until we get to study the tape, but they were celebrating with Jack Hoffman on the sideline. And it may have been Mcnulty, but the way they were celebrating on the sideline, it might have been Jack Hoffman who knocked that ball out.
There's a happy man right there because his touchdown run has just given his team the lead. Maine South on top, 24-17 here in the 4th. Let's give credit where credit is due. Number 31, Jack Pistorius, forced that fumble, recovered by Jack Hoffman, and then capitalized by the offensive line and Nick Leongas.
And of course, silly me, they are celebrating with Hoffman because he recovered it. So here's the huge punt from Sean Mcnulty, who gets a big assist on this one. There's Pistorius reaching in. And there's Hoffman on the football, and here comes Leongas going for 6.
A lot of time left in this. 10-22.
Yeah, the only thing I'm betting on, Dave, is this ain't over yet. We've seen these teams both respond pretty well.
Deep into the end zone. Loyola from the 20. The one thing with these teams is you get the distinct impression neither one is going to flinch. They'll take their hits and then go from there. There's Loyola, how their night has gone. That touchdown on the opening drive.
You know what's so weird about that, Dave? You see the 3 drives, 10 plays, 11 plays, 12 plays. Everything else either 3 and out or 4 and out.
Feast or famine. On the ground to rock. 5 yards on first down. For 66, Emmett Zima. Zima has had a tough time this playoff season. His grandmother passed away suddenly just before the round 2 game with Barrington. She had seen all 42 of his games. He's playing a state title game, and you know that he is playing for her as well. A lot of time for Harrian. Delivers. Incomplete to midfield. Marweedy, the reception. They go to the big man.
I was just sitting here thinking to myself, Dave, they're not going to take the air out of the ball again. It is throwing the ball that Tommy Harrian has had his most success with this offense tonight. And there you see a big play that changes the field position dramatically.
When you saw Marweedy just take that ball away from Cam Stacy. First down directly at midfield. Second down. Coverage on the play to Matthew Schneider.
Matthew Snyder, depending on the play.
This Maine South defense, I think, is probably going to lay back a little bit more now, knowing that they're coming at them through the air. They're doing just fine with those linebackers, especially Pusateri, as far as handling the run, but they've got to be careful not to let anybody get deep on them here and get a quick strike.
Straight up the gut to Rock, the offensive line. Able to work their way to a 3, 6, maybe 7, 6-yard run for number 3.
Huge third down here if Loyola wants to answer. They do not want to give the ball back to Maine South with the lead and allow them to start working on that clock. No going for it here on 4th at midfield. They got to get this on 3rd and 4. False start, you think?
Flag was thrown on that far side.
Oh, that could be defense then. False start looked to be on the near side to us.
And ball, false start on the offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
Only 5 yards feels somewhat like 15 right here. 3rd and 4 now becomes 3rd and 9.
Following the penalty, it's 3rd down, 3rd and 9 at the 49-yard line.
Looked like 77 may have gotten 75 going, but however it was definitely on Loyola.
Jack Badovanak, number 77 for the Ramblers. 8.5 minutes to play, a 3rd down and 9. Perrion looking for Terrell, maybe a little bit of a mix-up in a pattern there. Terrell had stopped, the ball kept going. It's 4th down.
Dave, I can't believe my cell phone is buzzing in my back pocket. Who is not watching Maine South and Loyola right now? This is as good a high school football game as you're going to see.
This is one of the special ones. Mark Nicholson to come on to punt.
So in essence, you've got 2 huge challenges here. With 8:27, Maine South's going to get the ball back. The defending champion Loyola Ramblers defense has to get a stop, and then the offense needs to get them 7, but first the defense has to get that stop.
Fair catch call by Kokosoulias. Good fair catch. The ball could have hit, popped up at the 5-yard line. That's a 41-yard punt. Tomorrow morning, before Jordan Howard and company face the Tennessee Titans, we'd like you to get ready for kickoff with Chris Bowden, Lance Briggs, Alex Brown, and Jim Miller on an hour-long edition of Bears Pregame Live. And after the game goes final, you won't want to miss what the guys have to say. Plus, hear from Coach Fox and the rest of the team on Bears Postgame Live. It all begins tomorrow at 11 a.m. on CSN.
And one more shameless plug. 2 hours before the CSN pregame show starts, turn on 670thescore.com. I'll be at Soldier Field with Patrick Manley and Dan Pompei. By the way, Dan Pompei, Hall of Fame Bears beat reporter, Bears writer, very close friend of Maine South coach Dave Ansara.
That may be Dan Pompei buzzing your back pocket.
Could be, yeah. He wants to know how the coach is doing.
Hawks the ball, the lead. They'll come out throwing. And it will go to Holbrook. You know, at Maine South, they have a school retake policy in their classes. And the way it works is if you do a lot of extra work, you can retake a test. Now, the football team has adopted that as well. They lost to Barrington early in the season, then played them again in the playoffs. Well, when they played Barrington, they just did a retake. They defeated the Broncos. Now what they're doing is they're looking to get a retake on Loyola, a team they lost to early in the season. They expect to do better the second time around after having put in their extra work. Hawks are not satisfied with just sitting on a lead. They're going after it, and that pass knocked away by Swenson.
Well, 2nd and short, that's a gamble worth taking. You throw into the sideline. As long as you keep it outside shoulder, it's not likely to get picked, and you go for the big play knowing you just need a 1-yard run here. You know, it was funny talking to Coach Ansara about the retake policy. I thought Dave made a great point. He said, we're supposed to be teaching these kids. You don't teach them anything by saying failure is failure. Let them try and fix it, and that's what they're trying to do here tonight.
Need a yard.
Ooh.
Not going to get it.
There's that stick.
Boy, that line became filled with white jerseys in a hurry.
Anthony Romano on the tackle.
So rather than taking 2 cracks to get a yard, they went deep on one and didn't get it on the next, and here comes the punt team.
Time for another episode of the Sean McNulty Show. We'll see what he can do here.
65-yarder the last time he hit it. Jack Martinez deep to return this punt if he gets a chance. Another good kick. Martinez, the fair catch to the 40. Good field position with 7:21 to play in a Ramblers. Down by a touchdown, 40 yards on that punt from McNulty.
I think Martinez went to school on the last one. Don't let the ball hit the ground. There was a 22-yard roll after the last 40-yard punt. At least this time he just held it to 40.
Loyola on a 30-game winning streak. For Maine South, they're looking to win the final 7 minutes and 21 seconds to pick up 6th state title in school history. Room off right tackle, Rock, and an ankle tackle brings him down.
Boy, that Rock way short. That's a bad spot.
Be enough for a first down, evidently.
Strange.
Here comes Rock.
He was about 1.5 yards past the marker. They marked him 1/2 yard behind the marker and then moved the sticks. So I don't know what that was all about.
Jack Hoffman with that tackle. Rock tries the left side, ridden down. Michael Pusateri grabbed him and just drove him to the turf.
By 42, Michael Pusateri.
Fact is, Pusateri, one of the team leaders, we talked about him earlier. After that loss to New Trier in the 7th week of the season, he told the team, he told his Maine South teammates, the only way to get this cloud from this loss of New Trier off our heads is to win a state championship. They lead with less than 6.5 minutes to play. And that comes up short, empty, and well defended. Jack Pistorius right there.
I know that you just mentioned it, Dave, but 77-game conference. Losing, snapping that'll put a cloud over the program.
A third of the Maine South team was not even born.
Yeah, we were talking to Coach and Sarah about it, and he was despondent talking about it 5 weeks later.
3rd and 11 for Harrion. It will be 4th down. And this Maine South defense has been stellar since they took the lead, since they recovered the fumble to take the lead.
What I love about that play is that was Matt Holbrook making a huge break on the ball and knocking that away after David Terrell has pretty much taken him to school the second half. There's no fear in these kids. They're out here making plays, playing football, having fun. That's what this game is supposed to be.
Nicholson will hit it. And contact, no flag.
Yeah,
there it is.
He did get the arm up for the fair catch.
Kokosoulias, the fair catch signal. The ball with 5 minutes and 36 seconds left. That's what Maine South will have. Our referee tonight, Robert Smith. And I'd like to give a shout out to all our officials in the finals here. A week where things were a lot of attention drawn to the men in stripes. We have had a great officiated state finals here through 8 games.
Have kick catching interference on the kicking team, 15 yards from the spot, first down.
So that hurts Loyola more ways than one. This is what it looked like.
Well, you know, and it's interesting. I thought he went to get his arm up, but he didn't get it up. But you don't have to signal for a fair catch. You still need to be given that full step to be able to catch the ball before the defender can interfere. And he was clearly hit before the ball got there.
Each team has 3 timeouts remaining. We're down to the last 5 minutes and 36 seconds. A 24-17 Maine South lead. Kokosoulias cannot get to the outside.
These two defenses have really taken over now, Dave. Nobody on the defensive side of the ball wants to be the reason that their team loses. And you've got great pursuit out there. The other thing, it's been a really good tackling game. We have not seen many missed tackles. We've seen several saving tackles where guys are grabbing ankles and shoelaces and shins. And I don't mean to be redundant, but this has just been a really well-played football game.
Number 40, Anthony Romano. We've called his name a number of times. That's a loss of 2. Leongas delivers.
It's Hinkamp again, but he's about 1.5 yards short of the first down.
Down by 15.
Well, this snap of the ball could determine at least the next 2 minutes of this game. First down, Maine South. Short of any timeouts, this clock could wind.
You keep this in Leongas' hands because Kokosoulias has been slowed down a little bit this second half.
Play clock down to 3, 2. Pass, got it, first down. He threw it low. The only man that could come up with it was Kokosoulias, and a change will move. First down, Maine South.
First down, Maine South.
That's why Charlie Bliss is calling the plays and not me, Dave, because obviously he knew how to convert that third down. Although I guess it wasn't Leongas' hands. He just threw it to Kokosoulias.
That was quite the catch by Fotis. To the outside. Leongas. He stays in bounds. Now, he slipped, but he made sure he did not hit that white stripe on the field. 17-yard run.
This is the ball game right here for Loyola, because another first down and you are in Sean Mcnulty country. Right now you're still too far away from him. Loyola needs to get a stop right here if they do not want this to be a 2-score and therefore most likely unwinnable game.
Leongas all the way. And now, Hub, I think you are dead on that he is the only man that's going to touch that ball.
I'm not sure why you risk handing it off. I mean, you're down into the final count now.
Loyola can stop the clock 3 times with timeouts. When this clock is snapped, there's only going to be about 2:45 to play.
Thinking they want to see whether they can get them to 3rd or 4th down first and try and have a couple timeouts for that winning drive if they get a chance.
Leongas keeps, there's room to the outside. That's another first down.
Now they got to stop the clock.
We saw a clutch drive to close out the first half for the Loyola Academy Ramblers. And here in crunch time, it's Maine South. That's a 10-yard run for the quarterback, Nick Leongas. Inside the 20, they'd like to get to that orange. The pitch. Down to the 12. Kokosoulias. Well, we're coming up on 2 minutes.
Well, Loyola's very much in the game if they can keep Maine South off the board, but with where you're at now, it's hard to imagine Mcnulty not being able to put the ball through, and it would be the biggest 3 points of his young life today.
Second down and 3 at the 12-yard line.
This could get down to a minute and a half. by the time this ball is snapped. There you can look at that big play clock, the scoreboard in the north end. Kokosoulias bounces to the outside. Still on his feet. He has the, or did he? Now a flag goes down, and I think he may have been short of the first down, at least where our officials are standing.
I hope they're not throwing that flag for hitting him out of bounds, because nobody knew he was out of bounds.
This will be an interesting call in a couple of different ways here. So that is the spot. He will be short of the first down. You see the flag from the yards markers there.
It'll still just be third down, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You know, what's his penalty flag?
Dead ball, personal foul, late hit on the defense, number 54. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Oh, wow. I don't like that call at all. They're trying to save the game. They're trying to knock the kid out of bounds.
Let's take a look
we'll
here.
See how late it was, but that's a terrible call.
That's tough.
That is a terrible call. That's too bad. Hate to see this come down to that.
91 seconds left. Ball at the 5. Looking for a clinching score. Down to the 2.
You know, Dave, we raised the question. I raised the question, I guess, early in this ball game. The only one of the 4 teams we've called tonight with nobody going 2 ways is Loyola, and we wondered which team would be fresher in the 4th quarter, which team would be more prepared to finish. Obviously, it's Maine South with their 5 players going 2 ways who are getting the better of this late action.
10th play of a drive that started with over 5.5 minutes to play, and we're under a minute here in the 8A championship game. Kokosoulias stuck and stopped. And now a timeout.
Timeout. Loyola.
It comes with 43 seconds to play in the 8A championship game. The difference in this game, a 65-yard punt, followed by a fumble recovery by Jack Hoffman, followed by a 17-yard Leongas touchdown run. That came at the 10:22 mark of the 4th quarter to this 24-17 lead. Talked about a couple of coaches that had each won over 80% of their games in their coaching careers. Those 3 plays we were just talking about, this is what it looked like. Mcnulty with the punt, distance, and a roll. Harion, fumble forced by Jack Pistorius. Next play, Leongas, touchdown. Maine South goes on top.
Third down, 3rd and goal at the 1-yard line.
And it's 3rd and goal. That surge.
Did not get in.
No.
No, they're not going to give it to him.
Leongas on the keeper.
It's 4th down. And another timeout with 31 seconds to play. That's how close it is.
You know, this is interesting. I'm not sure that you kick this field goal. I know that you want to make it a 2-score game.
Loyola, their second charge timeout and a half.
But there's plenty that can go wrong on the snap, on a potential block. You don't know what'll happen. If you go for it here and you don't get it, Loyola has to go 99.5 yards in about 24 or 25 seconds with just 1 timeout. I don't think you kick the field goal here. I think you go ahead and take a crack at the end zone, and if you don't get it, you're still in pretty good shape.
I think I saw Leongas step away from that huddle, which would indicate that this would be a field goal attempt. Now Leongas is the holder, so either way he's going to be on the field.
Yeah, I just don't see the wisdom in kicking this field goal. It looks like Mcnulty is trailing the pack. I don't know if that means he's going to line up to kick it.
Now Leongas is angling himself, number 4 there, as if he's going to hold it. And that's what they will do.
They obviously have pretty good faith in their special team and their kicker, and it's understandable.
Here we go, a 7-point difference. Does it become 10? High snap. Leongas gets it down, and Mcnulty buries it.
I'll tell you what, that was a bad snap. That was a great job by Leongas to get it down. Mcnulty never broke stride, puts it through the uprights, and I think it's safe to say that Maine South is going to win themselves another state championship. We'll look forward to the last 24 seconds and see what Loyola's got, but 2 scores in 24 seconds with 1 timeout, that would be a bit of a miracle. Watch this. Watch the job that Leongas does getting this ball down. And Mcnulty will never break stride. He just comes through, up high. He's moving both knees, pretty much right down the middle from Sean Mcnulty.
How about this drive for Maine South? They have the ball, the 7-point lead. They go 12 plays, 66 yards, and they took 5 minutes and 12 seconds off the clock. Leongas, the big run, and another. Kokosoulias. And then the snap, the hold, the kick, and a 10-point lead. Trouble for Rock.
No, I think the official was calling it a touchback, wasn't it? Because it bounced off his shoulder and hit in the end zone. Maybe not.
Rock on the return.
Well, they ran the clock. I guess not.
Tackled by 44.
16 seconds left here in Champaign.
I'll tell you what, Dave, I don't know that we get a vote or not, but if I was picking a player of the game for his place kicking, for his punting, for his play on defense, for his blocking for the run, Sean Mcnulty has been on the field for 48 minutes, and he's got the bulk of the big plays in this game. A lot of heroes to go around on both sides. Loyola acquitted themselves very well tonight, too, but it doesn't seem like anybody had a bigger impact on this game tonight than Mcnulty.
Loyola to run it. The sprint is on to the south end zone. That's where the Maine South fans are sprinting to the awards platform.
It was a fairly classy concession speech by John Holisek, I think. He knows what's happening here. There's no point in prolonging it now.
Maine South, not only do they avenge a Week 2 loss, they get the state championship in 2016. The 6th state football title that will go to Park Ridge.
Didn't quite get Dave and Sarah with the Gatorade, but they gave it a shot. He might have gotten a few drops in the back. He didn't even notice. He doesn't care. He is celebrating another state championship. Two very well-coached football teams, Dave. When you realize they played a 44-43 game 11 weeks ago, I think everybody expected more of that. To see them come out, play such mistake-free football most of the night, 2 great defensive performances, big plays from a lot of individuals, just an outstanding high school state championship game.
Maine South coming into the season, quite frankly, not expected to be on this field at this time. But then they came out of the blocks, knocked off Montini, dominated Montini 44-13. Everybody said, Maine South. It was actually that Week 2 game where people said, hey, these guys could be a threat when they lost to Loyola 44-43, going for a 2-point conversion late and not getting it. That's when everybody stamped the Hawks as a team that could certainly win a state title. The next week, a loss, though, to Barrington, 41-27, and then folks started not thinking about Maine South as much. Then that 77-game winning streak in the conference came to an end with a 27-21 loss to New Trier, and folks at that point said, okay, let's look somewhere else. Instead, you're looking at the state champs. Your final score, 27-17. Maine South defeats the defending 8A champs. Don't go anywhere. We will have interviews, analysis, and more. The Hawks, the 2016 Class 8A title. (27-17) is your final. Sierra Santos down on the field with head coach Dave and Sarah.
First and foremost, Coach, congratulations. You add another championship to your storied program. Throughout the broadcast, they were talking about how the district has a retake policy with tests.
Yeah.
You certainly retook the tests and you passed.
We retook the test because we did all the necessary groundwork beforehand, all the homework, all the preparation. We did it in second round of the playoffs against Barrington, and then we got another retake against Loyola. We took full advantage. We did a great job on our homework.
Sean McNulty, Nick Leongas, gosh, so many players standing out in this game. Who caught your eye? And I know it was a team effort.
Yeah, Nick just played an amazingly smart game, making the right throws, keeping in bounds and running the clock down here. Sean McNulty, what a stud. I mean, his kicks and punts were phenomenal. He made defensive play after defensive play, and I know he blocked well on offense.
Just what's this mean for your program? You guys have a laundry list of success, but it never hurts to get another one.
No, we had 140 alumni out on Friday to take a picture and to support these boys as we warmed up. We've had the youth program out all the time. It is a total program win. It's a tradition of Maine South. There's none better, and that's 6. That's 6.
You're adding to its legacy, Coach. Thank you very much, and congratulations. Go celebrate with your guys.
Thank you. We did it.
Well, we did it. We did it. That pretty much says it all, Hub.
Yeah, I was hoping Sierra would ask him if we could shave him on the field, but I guess that's not going to happen. David and Sarah, you know, I think that during the course of the last 2.5 hours or so, Coach and Sarah has been as jacked up as any player on the football field. I mean, we noticed when he came out, he was bouncing off the sidelines. He got the early sideline warning for not staying on the sidelines. He really, I mean, he put in a full 24 hours tonight, and he's got the hardware now to show for it.
Anytime you win a state championship, it has deep, deep meaning. Here in Class 8A, you came in as the underdog this season. You probably came into this game as the underdog, and in a state finals where you bring teams from all over the state, you defeat one of your rivals, a school that is only 7 miles away. It has that extra special meaning.
It does, and I do think it would be a shame if we didn't give one more congratulations to the Loyola Ramblers on an outstanding season. The defending 8A champions get back to a championship game at 13-0, forced to play a team that they got a close victory over earlier in the season that was obviously more prepared this time, but I thought they also did a wonderful job of adjusting early in the football game. The way this thing started, we didn't know if there was going to be any defense, and really until the last 8 minutes of the game, this was a standoff. They played each other to a standstill. Maine South finished stronger, but congratulations to the Loyola Ramblers. In this particular case, there is absolutely no shame in finishing second, and I think we're going to see a lot more from some of the underclassmen on this football team, as well as seeing a number of these kids playing on Saturday in college football next year.
Let's go back downstairs. Sierra Santos now with number 4, Nick Leongas. Sierra.
Yeah, guys, your coach just gave you so much props for all the credit you did on all the work you did on the field today. You guys talked about that retake policy. You certainly passed the test today. What's this mean for you? What's this mean for your team?
Oh my God, this is the greatest feeling in the world. I literally can't describe how I feel right now. We wanted this since we were 4th grade, 5th grade. My dad told us, all of us, that we're gonna be state champs. You know, I'm so proud of these coaches, teammates, everyone. They're the great. We're the greatest. Oh my God, I just love it. We're state champs, baby.
Your coach has been growing out that beard since you guys lost in conference game. I think he's going to shave it tonight. Are you going to buy him a razor?
Oh, we're all shaving it. Every one of us. That's the deal. We're shaving it. We're shaving his beard. Oh man, this is awesome. That's awesome.
Congratulations. Go enjoy the victory with your team.
Thank you so much.
Guys, we'll send it back up to you.
Thanks, Sierra. Sean McNulty along with Nick Leongas. And That right there, Hub, that is high school sports. The unbridled and unbelievable type of enthusiasm these young men feel.
It was the only time all night that Nick Liangas was basically not in control. He started to get a little emotional there. You could tell, but these are 18, 17-year-old young men, and to play on this stage in front of a TV audience in the third biggest market in the country and to play as flawlessly as they did tonight, they have a ton to be proud of, and I'm sure that they're going to enjoy the rest of this evening and the next couple of weeks and months. This one's going to take a while for them to celebrate.
Loyola this year, the second place trophy after a championship finish last year. Our trophy presentations, of course, are brought to you by Menards. Maine South now makes their way in a surge to that podium on the south end of the stadium. And there you see number 40, Anthony Romano, with the second place trophy, and those people, I told you they were sprinting to get right down there in front of their team. Fans from Park Ridge and Maine South High School.
Some of whom should put their shirts back on, because I know it's tradition if you're a Packer fan or a Bears fan, but the temperature has dropped into the 30s here tonight, and we have a number of high school students running around with no shirts on. There's going to be some cold and flu in Park Ridge, I think, in the next couple days. Look at the size of Jarvis. That kid is number 75, heading to Michigan State, 6'5", 340. But does that look like a 340-pounder to you? That is an athlete. That is one impressive young man.
And there goes the medal around Jarvis's neck, and you can tell with these players, they are still ready to explode. An intense 48 minutes, and the release coming right now. There's Sean Mcnulty.
I'm guessing there's a few people in Park Ridge that are glad Mr. Mcnulty was able to convince Mr. Ansera to put him on the football field to do something besides kick and punt.
The 8A state champions belong to the city of Park Ridge and Maine South High School. Congratulations to Maine South, 27-17 winners over Loyola. Let's take a look at our Wintrust play of the game. In a tight ball game you knew was going to come late in the fourth quarter. It's the fumble with the tie game. Pistorius forcing the fumble. Hoffman the recovery. The Wintrust play of the game. The very next play resulted in the Nick Liangas 17-yard touchdown run for the 24-17 lead. A field goal by that man right there brought us to our final score at 27-17. That was the clincher. And the band plays on here in Champaign. Our country financial player of the game, we'll give it to Nick Liangas. Sean Mcnulty right alongside Liangas. As you heard Dave Ansera, mistake-free game. He had the big numbers here tonight.
That is a great shot of the head coach, Dave Ansera, hugging his big 340-pound tackle, Mr. Jarvis, Kevin Jarvis, and this team just euphoric at the moment. You can understand why. You know, I think it's one thing to win a state championship, Dave, but it's another thing to get a chance against a team that beat you 44-43 because you elected to go for two and didn't get the job done. That was how close it was. You talked about the retake policy with Maine South. I think it's a great policy for high school kids, and it worked out for them again tonight.
Have a pleasure once again working a state title ball game. This one was a beauty.
It was. I thank you, thank Russ, Matt, everybody for having me, for having us, and for anybody who got to watch this one at home. I don't care what level it is. That's just great football, and I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed getting to call it.
Here are your state champions here in 2016. We wrap up 2 full days of high school football coverage on CSN. Congratulations to Forest and DMAC, IC Catholic Rochester, and then today your state champs came from Peoria, Prairie Ridge, East St. Louis, and Maine South. A full weekend of football. Foreston, the winners in 1A. DMAC got it in 2A. Big early blowout wins. IC Catholic, a dominating performance in Class 3A. And in 4A, the 6th state championship in 7 years for Rochester. You want high scoring in Class 5A, then you should have been here this morning. A 110-point game. Peoria gets the win there. Prairie Ridge made the trip to Champaign. Sampson Evans leads them to another state title. Earlier, East St. Louis on this field. Thanks to an 85-yard interception return, they bring home their 8th state championship in school history. They raise the trophy high, and here in Class 8A, Maine South, the 6th state championship in their history. What a weekend. For our entire crew, for my partner Hub Arkish, I'm Dave Bernhardt. Thanks for joining us. 2016 Football Championships on CSN.